Hey folks, how's it going? I was actually on the phone with my nephew Jonathan. There we go. Maybe some other folks come in. Yeah, I got enough lights on. It's so dark in this camper. That's all I see. Two folks in. We got a whole lot to talk about tonight. Hopefully everybody will chime in and have something to talk about. Got 5 folks in already. Hope everybody's doing okay. Make sure you drop a line. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what's going on. Sister Jewel here. Pizza of the Homestead's here. Thank you guys. Appreciate you stopping by. We've had a whole lot going on. Been a busy day. Been a busy. C. Taylor getting started on the homestead here. Good evening. Been a busy day. Been a busy week for us. I could go to sleep right now. It's been so busy for us. We've been building a fence all week, and now I remember why I don't like to build fence. We finished up the pen over there that we was building, and we got a colt in. A friend of ours from Colorado Springs. She took and, hey Josh, good to have you here, brother. She brought her a little horse down. She brought a little 3-year-old gelding down. He's a Tennessee walking horse, and we're getting him started. We're gonna have him here for the next 3 months and working. We'll be bringing you some footage. I got a lot of videos put out. I got a lot of footage shot so far this week, and we've got to get some more stuff out. We went to the homestead last week on Sunday. We actually went down to the homestead, cut some trees, had some fun. Grab that crossbow. I don't know if y'all can see this. I don't know if I showed you guys this. Did I show them this last week? I don't know if I showed you this last week. We got these crossbows. I don't know if I showed it to you last week or not. I may have done. I don't know. I don't remember what I do one day the next. People are getting started on the homestead. Okay. So we took this down to the homestead and set up a target, and we had good fun with it. I actually shot it here in the camper. Not something you want to do a whole lot of. But I set it up. I put it together. It comes in 2 pieces. Pretty nice little crossbow, little pistol crossbow. 25-pound spring steel crossbow. Not a toy. There are some out there that are a little bit less than this. They're not as stout as this. I think they got plastic arms. This is actually a metal arm. You really have to pull it back. And now I've got it cocked, and I might put it on safety. You don't want to shoot it dry. But got these on sale. These are normally, they were $30 at Big 5, and we actually got them for $10 each. It was a special, and they didn't have any in the store, and they had to bring them into us. Can you go outside and shoot into the bank, put an arrow in it, and shoot it in the bank? I cocked it. Like an idiot. At least I didn't fire it. So we got that. We got the fence built. We got the pens built. I'll be bringing you some footage of that in an upcoming video. We got that colt in the train. Started working with him already. Hello from Kansas. Good to have you guys here. Pathways Homestead. I got a new home defense device this week. They were having a sale at Sportsman's Warehouse, and I couldn't hardly pass it up. I was kind of nostalgic. I won't show you that. I'll show it to you on another video. I'm going to be making a holster for it. I'll be showing you that. Got that this week. Really haven't. Like I said, it's been a busy week between building fence, working, and doing stuff around the RV park here. Had to cut some trees. Um, we've been busy, and one of the things I want to talk to you tonight was something that happened this week and brought it back to my mind is redneck ingenuity. And I think I was talking to a guy today about this, and I think a lot of times we get it in our minds, or people get it in their mind. I never got it in my mind because I never grew up with very much. But people get it in their mind that things have to be a certain way, um, and they don't have to be a certain way. Like if I'm going to do this, I've got to have this piece of equipment, and I've got to have that piece of equipment. I've got to have. It happens to people who get into horses all the time. They'll get a horse, and they think they've got to have a stall, and they've got to have a barn, and they've got to have all this nice equipment, and then they've got to have a truck, and then they've got to have a trailer, and all this stuff, which you don't necessarily have to have. And they get it in their mind. And this week, I don't have a truck right now. I sold my truck back in the fall, and I don't have a truck right now. And I've been looking for one. The one we had, it wasn't going to last forever, and it wasn't exactly what we need. We need a four-wheel drive. Not only do we need a four-wheel drive, we need a heavy truck, 3/4 ton or a ton. Those are a little bit pricey. And everything I've been looking at around here is they're just trash. They've been used up. So I've been putting back money, trying to buy a truck. Been looking at different trucks, and there's some trucks I could have bought, but they just weren't. There's no sense in me buying something that is not what I need just to suffice right now. And I don't know if y'all know the whole story on the Lincoln. How many of y'all seen the Instagram post and the Facebook post of us carrying the gate on top of? Hey, Leslie Osborne now. Carrying the gate on top of the Lincoln Town Car. Well, you do what you can with what you have, and the thing about it is I ain't got a truck right now, but I do have that Lincoln. I actually bought that Lincoln. This is the second time I've owned that Lincoln. I bought that Lincoln Town Car. The motor only has like 60,000 miles on it. I know the family it come from, and I sold it to this boy because he needed a car. He ended up not driving it very much. In fact, didn't even license it, didn't even get it in his name, and he needed some money, so I bought it back from him. And it's a good old car. Runs and drives. Interior's a little bit rough, but it is what it is. It's a Lincoln Town Car. It runs, it drives, goes down the road. It ain't got no major issues. Okay. So we've been looking at trucks, and we thought, well, we'll just go buy a truck. And I can buy a truck, but every time we look at a truck, it's not what we need. We need a truck that is at least. I bought a $500 Ford Ranger 4-drive last year, and it's still going. That's awesome. If it was 4-wheel drive around here, it'd be falling apart because the roads are rough around here, and people are rough on them around here. He said, I met a very nice YouTuber here in California. His channel name is G Bear Austria. Yeah, I know G Bear. He's homesteading in the California highway. Yeah, I watch G Bear's stuff sometimes. He's out there. He ain't got a whole lot of trees. He's out there on the flat desert too. Yeah, but in order to buy the truck that we need, it's going to take a significant amount of money because I don't want to buy one that I'm going to have to work on a whole lot. That's not going to do the job. It's going to break down on me. So one of the things about redneck ingenuity, people call it redneck ingenuity, it's figuring out ways to do what you need to do with what you have. And me and Anna was talking. We were driving down the road the other day, and she says, "Don't you scoot over here? You're halfway in the picture anyway." Here's Anna, and there she is. She said, "What's the difference between this car and the truck we had?" And I said, "Well, the motor's a little smaller, but not that much." I said, "It's basically the same thing. It just ain't got the springs for it. It don't have a bed on it." So we got to thinking about it and said, well, why don't we take and put a trailer hitch on the car have a trailer, and put some air shocks on the car, and boom, there you go. We got something that'll pull. I said it's got a good motor. It'll pull and do what we need to do. So this week we've kind of decided that's what we're going to do, and I started looking at hitches, trailer hitches for the Lincoln, and lo and behold, they're $200, anywhere from $200 to $300. And then the place wanted like $200 put in. I was like, no, you're crazy. Ain't doing that. So I got on there. What's first thing a redneck does? Okay, what's first thing is that you do? You go, okay, there has to be a better way because I need to save money, as much money as I can, to put towards the Adrian's in the house. Good to have you here. I do that all the time. Use and make do with what you have. Yeah, that's the only way to do it. So the very first thing we do is I start figuring out ways to do that. I start looking. I start first place I start the junkyard. If I need something, I'll run to a junkyard. None of the junkyards had any Lincoln Town cars of any year, and the hitch will fit from like a 95 all the way to a 2002. They didn't have any receiver hitches, cars with receiver hitches. I called O'Reilly Auto Parts. $200 out the door. That's tax and all. It was about $200, just under $200. I'm like, man, I don't want to spend that kind of money on it. And we're putting together our budget, seeing what we need to put together and doing what we need to do. I'm like, man, I just don't. $200. So I started going around to car lots. I started going around little junk stores. We even stopped at a junk store and looked at one, and it wasn't the right size because I can retrofit, do things. Wasn't the right size, wouldn't work. Was on Facebook this morning. Now, this is what prayer gets you. I've been praying about this. I said, which direction do I need to go? It says to pray, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, give your prayers and supplications to God. Okay? So that's what I do. Very first thing I do, I start praying. I've learned my lesson over the years. Start praying, and this morning I went up. I would get up about 4 o'clock. I was looking on Facebook. Marketplace. Finally went up and was talking to Polly. Didn't turn off my phone, and I looked again, and boom, there was a trailer hitch come off of a '93 Lincoln Town car, $30. I messaged him right away. Hey, I want this. I'll come get it this morning. Went there, put it up on the car, looked at it. It's gonna fit great. Did not have the hardware kit for it. I look up the hardware kit on the internet. $46 for 4 bolts, 4 spacers, and a little old cable that goes up in the frame, and you put the bolt and everything on it, and you pull it back through. $46. I said, no, there's got to be a better way. So I went driving around town, me and Polly did, and we found an RV place that installs hitches. And I went in there and I talked to the guy. I said, hey, gray tape and clothes hangers, my best friends for fixing stuff. we got right up there, we got a box that's got all kinds of tape in it. In fact, we're using Gorilla Tape right now to patch a hole in the bathtub. There's some redneck Ingenuity for you. It looks black. The whole bottom of the tub looks black right now because the hole keeps getting bigger and bigger. But at least the tub ain't leaking. I'm telling you, if you put down Gorilla Tape, it will seal watertight. If it's a clean surface, it will do it. I never do Facebook. I'm glad you made a story. Oh, yeah, Desert Dog. You don't do Facebook. I do. I ain't scared. It made her day. She made $30. I got a hitch off. Hey Taylor, that's what I've been doing, praying to God to guide me of where I need to purchase property when I retire. Yeah. Hey, put all your prayers and supplications before God. Say, here, God, and He'll tell you which way to go. He'll tell you what to do. Sure enough. Back to what I was saying. So I need both. So I go in this RV place and the service department's closed, and the guy behind the counter, I'm telling him, I said, I need a hardware install kit for a receiver hitch. He said, don't got anything like that. He said, over in the service department, he said, I know they have extras because they don't use them all. Went over there, boom. He had the bolts, they're grade 8 bolts. He had the blocks for the go up in the frame. He had the cables to go up in the frame. He had everything. I don't meditate. The only thing I meditate on is the word. If God gives me a word or I read the Bible, I meditate on that. I meditate on that a lot. And meditation, I'm not looking for clarity from any other outside source besides God. But I meditate on His Word. I don't meditate. It's kind of like worrying. I don't worry about the things. I put them before God and I meditate on His Word. What does His Word say about it? What does He say about it? And then I follow peace. And it's a spiritual peace, not a physical peace. I've been in a lot of situations that were not physically peaceful, that were not, emotionally peaceful, but I had a spiritual peace about it. If that makes any sense. Anyway, back to what I was saying, the guy, give it to him for $8. The whole set. So now I've got the hardware kit, $38. I got my receiver hitch and my install kit. You'll stare at me the whole time you look at the camera. Does your daughter talk? Yeah. Not much till she gets to know you. She's a little camera shy. Say something to the folks. He wants to hear you talk. Hello. So Redneck Ingenuity. So I got a lot of stories. I hope folks have got stories like this because they're all things that we can learn from. And some of them do take some skill, but if you've been in enough tight situations where you didn't have no money, but you had to get something done and you had to do something, you learn how to do things. So I've got a list. Page and a half, page and 3/4. I'm gonna take you all the way back to my childhood. Sit back and imagine a young me. No, I'm just kidding. Growing up, like I said, we didn't have a whole lot. I was a missionary kid. I didn't have a whole lot. And there's things I wanted. There's things I seen that I wanted. And when you don't have a whole lot, and you don't have any way to make money, and you're kind of, you want the things that you see. You go to Walmart, you go to these stores, and man, I really want that. I remember when I was a kid, we had army men, and we wanted to put them on a horse. Because I believe in prayer, I had a 99 van that was falling apart and needed a reliable van, and the van that was fine. No, behold, guy had a 2008 Chevy van. It was 12 years old. With only, I'm assuming it had a few miles on it. Prayer works. 82,000 miles on it and runs like a brand new car. Them oldies are good, particularly when you can run up on one every once in a while. It's a really good car. I've owned some really nice ones. But when I was a kid, we wanted to put these army men on horses. So we would. This is where it all started. I mean, we were little, 5, 6 years old. Jewel can attest to this. I cut this finger off doing it. I literally cut this finger. I had to have like 5 stitches in it. Cut it all the way down through the joint, bleeding like a suck off. And when we didn't have something, we would make paper for it. If we wanted army men, we didn't have enough army men, we'd make paper ones. We would make paper horses. We would make paper because we didn't have a lot of stuff. We didn't have a lot of money. I didn't look at it as anything that was, growing up, I didn't know that we were doing with it. I didn't know what for. I mean, I was in high school before I realized I growed up poor. But that's where it all started. And we were living, and I really wanted a machete. I wanted a machete, and I didn't have the money for one. It was only like $10. And this is back years ago. I mean, I might have been 9 or 10. I wanted a machete. I wanted a machete bad. One of the neighbor kids had one. It was cool. I thought it was the coolest thing. You know how kids are. And I got to rummage around there with old junk pile, and I found this table leg. And I don't know how, looking back now, It couldn't have been that long. It was a metal table leg off them old. She didn't know either. I found this table leg, and I said, and that would make a machete. So I took, and we had this steel railing that went around this trailer that we lived in, and I took a hammer and I beat that. One thing my dad always did for us kids is he always got us a small tool kit and encouraged us to have tools. And he would find old hammers and put handles in them. And I had a hammer, so I flattened that table leg out. You know how flimsy it was. And the bottom of the leg was smaller than the top of the leg. You guys remember the old 70s style table leg. So I bent it over, beat it down, and took a bicycle handlebar, put it on there, and I beat the edge down until it was sharp. And I would cut horse weeds and limbs off the trees, and it would bend, and I'd straighten it back out with him. Carried that thing around with me for years. But I did what I could with what I had. So it was those kind of experiences growing up that led to, we made our own knives. We would take pieces of metal we would find in a grinder. We had a grinder in the shop, and we would grind down a piece of metal. We would make our own throwing knives. We'd make our own hatchets. We'd find old tools and retrofit them. Those types of things what we did. One time, me and my nephew, we got the idea we was going to make a katana blade. I think he still got this katana blade. We made it from a telephone pole brace, metal brace. And I think he still got it. But we beat it out, ground it down, and made a katana blade. And it was bad cat. You cut trees down with it, you do it. It was sharp. We ground on that thing, and those are high tensile steel, so it wasn't no joke. It still ain't. It was rough. But we made our own ropes. Yep, John said he still got that katana blade, and that's been 25 years ago, John. I think that's 25 years ago. But we used to make our own ropes. We would take hay twine and braid our own ropes. My dad taught us how to braid. John said he's modified it. Yeah. Well, if anything good you're going to take and you're going to work on and make it better. I think you lightened it up, didn't you, John? But we would braid our own ropes, and then I got the braiding whips, and you know, if you see something and you like it, first time I ever seen, and what made me want to whip, and I never wanted to whip before that, I don't guess, The Man from Snowy River. The Man from Snowy River, I started watching that, and I didn't have money to go buy a whip. Whips were $100, $200 in the tax store. They go in the feed store, and I just look at stuff. I'd be over there looking at it, see how it was made, and then I'd go back home, and I would fix it. So on a homestead, you know, do as much research as you can. There's a lot of things out there. I seen Jim and Jessica this week. They're making some of their own tools for their house build. Go see how it's made. If nothing else, go to where somebody has one and say, hey, can I look at that? Take pictures of it, reverse engineer it, and you can make your own tools. That's what I've had to do a lot because I couldn't afford them. RG says, I made most of my rock climbing gear some 40 years ago and it worked. I still have it to this day. Rock climb. We used to rock climb. We used to spelunk. We used to go down in caves, rappel down in caves. My wife came in. You don't want to know what that noise was. She's over there. We had mutton stew for dinner. It's good. We took backbone and put in crock pot with potatoes and carrots and celery. It's good. I'll give you an update on our meal today. So there's a lot of stuff. Me and John was talking. I said, "What's some of the stuff we did?" And back to cars. When I was farming, I had pigs and I had cows, and we were using, having people deliver stuff and whatnot. And me and John, I don't know where we got it. I think it was just the receiver hitch that goes in the receiver. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But we bolted it. We cut this was a Ford Escort GT. It was a cool car. We cut the ground effects out and bolted this receiver hitch to the bumper of it, and the bumper wasn't very much. And then we made a trailer out of this is old trailer on the farm. I don't even know remember where we got it. But I worked at Shoney's, and when they did anything at Shoney's, I usually brought the stuff home, Shoney's restaurant, and they had a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and it had Shoney sign on it. We put that as the bed, and then we took pallets and built the sides up. I think we used landscape timbers for the corners, but we hauled hogs in it, we hauled feed in it, we hauled hay. I even hauled a donkey in it. I think I hauled some calves in it one time to the sale. And it was just a rinky-dink thing. We bolted and nailed it together. And RG says he's making spaghetti. We don't do as much spaghetti as we used to. We do noodles every once in a while, but we don't do spaghetti as much as we used to. Since Polly is allergic to tomatoes, we don't do it. But things like that we've always done. And on a homestead, what I really want for folks, particularly people that may watch this and people may get in contact with you, you don't have to have the nicest of things. You don't have to have the best of things. You don't have to have a particular tool to do the job, as long as you get the job done and everybody's safe. And that's sometimes happened and sometimes it didn't. Nobody died, did they? That's what I was saying. You didn't die, did you? People used to talk about our childhood and you didn't die, did you? We made it through. But there's a lot of things like that we did. Kind of like our camper setup. We got out there and didn't have. Yeah, calves is a bit. They were 4 or 5 months old. Yeah, we did carry them themselves. They were small. They weren't very big calves. They weren't full grown cows or nothing. They were small calves, but we did take them themselves. So it's kind of like our trailer setup. We got down there and we had to get the camper off the truck. And if anybody's seen that video, it was kind of a scary deal for us. We kind of made light of it after the fact, but if it had fell on us, it would have killed us. And that's just God's honest truth. But we did what we could with what we had. So I've got all kinds of stuff here. I was writing down, and these are just random things that we did over the years. We have built out and lived in 2 different buses. One was a 40-foot school bus, 72 passenger, wasn't it? I'm talking yellow, the wheels on the bus go round and round school bus. Okay? And we pulled a horse wagon. I don't know how many of you ever seen, you can Google them. It's a horse wagon, not a horse trailer, a horse wagon. It was from like 1955 or something. And we redid that like in a month, wasn't it? We put new floors in it, painted it. It was one of them things where you look back and go, But we pulled it all the way across the United States and back, hauled horses in it, and pulled it behind that bus. But we built out 2 buses. I was talking to Polly earlier, and she reminded me of this truck. We bought this dually truck, and it was sitting in a barn, and it had been. Hey, Nicole. It had been sitting in a barn for I don't know how long, and the fuel pump was out on it, and the fuel tank was bad. It had trash in it, and they said, "How are you going to get it home?" So I took a gas can, and I put a hose in the gas can and taped it up through the nozzle, and I bungeed it on the mirror around the wing. You guys remember them old wings on trucks coming in? Bungeed it around that, and I ran the hose down to the carburetor, gravity fed. I got it flowing, and then stuck it on the carburetor, started up the truck, and I drove it. It's probably 40 miles home. And I'd stop at a gas station and put more gas in the can, start right up and take off and go again. How y'all don't want to be? You're not being disruptive. You can't be disruptive in this place. We don't even care. So, as you talk about trucks, my brother Rick, him and this guy named Joey Standard, back years ago in the hills of Tennessee, Hellicold Plains, where my sister Jules at now. She can tell you this. They had a Chevrolet flatbed truck and a race car. My brother raced, I think it was a 55 or 56 model Chevrolet car, and they only had one motor, and they took and they built this motor, and they had it in the truck, and they had some kind of rail or something over the top of the truck, and they would take the motor on race day. They would go to the track, take the motor out of the truck, transfer it over into the car, then they would race the car all night, and then they'd put the car back on the truck, drive it back up on the truck, take the motor out, and put it back in the truck, and then drive a car home. They did that every night, every race night. What we got going on here? Hot and hot. We went back, RG, we went back this last weekend. Went down there and cut some trees, had some steak, played around, spent most of the day down there. We didn't get down there till late. We didn't leave till late. But we got some trees out of the way and did some planting. We'll bring you some footage of that. We've got several videos. Going to get a video up. I've got a lot of footage backlogged because she's been working so much. And I started the last, two videos? Last two videos I edited on Windows Movie Maker. So I don't know if you guys seen those two, what you thought about them. Or noticed. Did you guys notice the two different styles? Or was there any difference in our styles, or did you guys notice? Yes, no. What did you guys think? What did you guys think? Whew. So growing up, please, yeah, thank you, Josh. So growing up, we built our own weapons. We built our own crossbows, catapults. Jewel, y'all, I didn't notice. Jewel, you're a woman. Women notice things. So we built our own bows and arrows. We built spears. We built all kinds of crazy stuff when we was growing up. But it led to later in life and living the kind of life we lived when me and Polly lived off grid. We had propane heat and propane gas stove. We had some propane heat. We also had a wood stove. But I put in 12 volt light, 12 volt power now. And people said, why would you want to do that? Well, that's what we had access to. And I would take the battery out of the car and leave it there at the house, and then I would put a battery back in the car. We would run it down the night before, and then I would drive to work. I'd start the car with a good battery, switch out, put the rundown battery in the car, and I'd drive that to work. And then we did that back and forth every day. We would run our lights in the house. We had 12 volt lights, and we had 12 volt TV. We didn't watch much TV, but that's what we had access to. So there's always things. It's kind of like our setup right here, and I know a lot of people do this on YouTube. We're using 4G. I don't even know where my phone is. Here. We're using our 4G hotspot when we got this, and I did this before, just a little Walmart phone with a hotspot. Out at Tees, I was doing stuff on my phone, but 4G hotspot, sitting here on my laptop, talking to you guys. There's ways around things. I found out today too that you can use your phone as your camera, link it straight to your computer, your laptop, run off of your 4G, and you can use your camera on your phone as the camera. You have to disable your laptop camera. You can go in the settings on YouTube and fix it. And you can do it. You can use your Canon, your whatever. What kind of camera do you have?
And I can't do 3300.
We use it too. I will trade it. We're going to be planting in containers here at the RV park. We're going to be taking and putting some of that together. It's still really cold right now. We have had, this is the first week we've had where we could actually clean our pen, our horse pens, and we're composting a lot of horse manure and dirt and that sort of thing. But we're going to plant in planters. Mostly, I think we're going to do salsa and pickles. Polly said, "You can't grow salsa. Grow the ingredients for salsa. Excuse me. Peppers, tomatoes, onions, cilantro, maybe some Mexican parsley. Is that the same thing? Maybe same thing. I don't know. Jalapenos, that sort of thing. But we're going to make our own salsa and do some pickles. Maybe some stuff like maybe do some jams. Last year we were able to go pick apples and stuff at people's houses. They said, Polly, of course she's right. But we may be able to get some access to some apricots, so we'll probably make some apricot jam this year. Some things I want to do. We got a big burner at a yard sale. I think Polly picked up for it's one of those turkey cookers, I guess you'd say. We did a boil. It was good. Crawdads and lobster tail and all that kind of stuff. We live around food. We love food. But we can outside with that. We can take and do our bass canning out there. Where you get the seeds for salsa. Where you go get your favorite type of salsa. And then you take and you get the right kind of dirt. It's got to be the right kind. And then you dump the little bit of the can of salsa in the dirt and water it liberally every day. Not going to do anything. How are the boys doing? They're doing marvelous. Our stud horse is getting kind of rank. We're going to have to take and snip him, RG. As soon as we get a good warm day, he is no longer going to be a stud. He's going to be a gelding. At least you didn't say dry. Oh my. Yeah, the boys are doing good. It's time for me to trim their feet again. I need finally my knees in good enough shape. I think I can do that. And that stud horse, he's getting where he thinks he's too big for his britches. So we're gonna have to snip him as quick as we can. He's being kind of honest, biting other horses. We've been noticing little tufts of hair where he's been biting them other horses. That's what studs do. It's time to snip him. So back to what I was saying. What was I saying before we started? Oh no. So we've got some little tips. If you're ever pulling a tandem trailer and your tire goes out, you have a blowout. You can take a strap. This is why I always carry straps. You can take a strap. Now, it has to be a tandem trailer, not a single axle trailer. If you do it to a single axle trailer, you're not going to get nothing. But we take the tire off and we take a strap and run it through the trailer, and then we strap up the axle, so we compress the spring and bring the axle up, and we run on 3 tires. There's a tip for you. That's some redneck ingenuity right there. Pulled one almost 100 miles home one night like that. Hard to find horses. I have got. You want to make a trip? I got tons of horse manure. I don't know how you get to it across the ditch. We're gonna have to wheelbarrow one wheelbarrow at a time over here. There's lots of horse manure between here and there. There's lots of horse manure everywhere. What else have we got? I've got way down this. We've already been here almost 40 minutes. 40 minutes now. Me and Polly, not having what you need or not having what you think you need sometimes. We have hauled pigs, goats. We had a station wagon one time. My grandpa gave it to me. So let me tell you a story. We got broke down in Oklahoma. Anna was, she never was that. When she come out. But we got broke down in Oklahoma. We were headed from Tennessee back to here one time. And we got broke down and we went back to Tennessee and we didn't have a car. Our car was blowed up in Oklahoma. Had a trailer behind it. Had a bunch of stuff on there. So my grandpa gave us a Ford station wagon. Not the big one. It was the V6. It was the smaller edition. But we had goats and we had pigs. We had all kinds of stuff. And we didn't have no trailer. We didn't have no horse trailer. We didn't have nothing. So when it was time to sell, definitely Ingenuity. When it's time to sell a goat, we just put I think we had our laundry in there too. You want to know the truth? Because we had to sell some goat. We need money. We had to sell some goat. Hey, Mel. Glad you guys are in here tonight. Simple Life Proclaimed. Glad to have you. We're just rambling right now talking about redneck ingenuity. But we just loaded the goats up in the back. We put the seats down, loaded the goats up in the back of the station wagon, hauled them to where we traded. We traded with a guy up here, actually right down the road from where we are now. Traded with him. So we've hauled ponies, we've hauled goats, we've hauled pigs. I hauled a pony one time in the back seat of I think it was a Delta 88. 4-door Delta 88. I hauled a pony in the back of it. So you don't have to have everything that people tell you have to have. You just have to have enough ingenuity to get the job done. We was out here. This goes hand in hand with the school bus and the horse wagon story, okay? So we were out here and we sold the bus that we drove out here. We stayed was it 9 months? Stayed a long time out here. My wife is sitting way over in the garden. I can't see it. Some of your old videos, lovely old ones where you did those were when we were promoting products mostly. But there's some real helpful hints in there. Helpful hints in there. So anyway, we were out here, we sold our bus, and we had to get back to Tennessee, and we actually had that horse wagon. And we had all of our stuff that was in the bus, and I ended up buying a 1972 Ford pickup. And we had all this stuff, and we were going back, and it was in July, it was hot. But there was 5 of us. There was this other kid with us, and then our 2, and then me and Polly. And we were going back from here to Tennessee. That year it got like 109 in Texas. We were in Shamrock, Texas. It was 109 degrees. It got down to 98 that night, and we thought it was cool. So that'll give you an idea. But we didn't have a camper and didn't have the money. We barely had the money to make it home. In fact, I had to call my uncle in Arkansas and have him send me some money so I could finish getting home. That's how tight it was. Okay? I was on the battlefield for my Lord, for my Lord. We sold the bus so that we could hold a big youth revival. Held a 4-day, and Jonathan actually come out there and sang from Tennessee. We paid the way, that bus, selling that bus, paid the way for them to come out from Tennessee to sing at the revival. That's how our life works. So anyway, bought this truck. Didn't have no camper. And so I went to Home Depot and looking around, and I bought some 2x3s, and I bought some stripping. They were like inch by 2 inch, I think, and some screws and a tarp. And we went over to my brother-in-law, Paul's sister's husband, and he had a drill, and he said, "You gonna do what? You gonna build a camper out of a tarp?" I said, "What we gonna do?" So I was pulling it tight, and we was out there pulling it tight, putting screws in it, putting the braces in, bracing it up, and they said, "It won't make it to Albuquerque." I said, oh, it's going to make it. So we pulled it down tight, screwed it down, had it all screwed down real tight. And then the back was kind of open. It was just an open tarp, and we would stuff it down in behind the tailgate and shut it. We put all of our belongings. Yeah, it was on that old 72 pickup. We put all of our belongings in there. And when we started going down the road, it started wanting to explode. So we cut some holes in it and used some little windows and put tape on it and Velcro. And then that let the air out so that when it gathered air, it didn't explode. And not only did it make it all the way to Tennessee, we took it off of that truck and set it in my dad's yard, and it sat in my dad's yard, I know, for a year, maybe a year and a half, and it didn't come apart then. He said, oh, well, you made that good. But he had to take it apart. It didn't fall apart. He had to take it apart. He said the tarp was starting to degrade because it sat there so long, but everything, he had to take it apart, take screws out. So you do what you can with what you got. And I think it ended up costing us, might have cost us $50. Gary Black. Hey, Gary. Appreciate you guys being here tonight from out in, you guys are almost to Las Vegas, ain't you? So you can, when people, the thing that challenges me, and maybe it's the redneck in me, the hillbilly, people say, that won't work. Oh, yeah, it's going to work now. It's going to work no matter what I got to do. I'm going to put enough duct tape on it. I'm going to put enough straps on it. I'm going to put enough stuff on it. It's going to work. You already seen the looks we had when we had that gate strapped on top of that Lincoln Town car coming through town. Was it yesterday? It was? No, it was the day before. ARG, appreciate you being here, brother. All of our dreams are coming true every day. I got 3 hots and a cot and a roof over my head. So that's better than 90% of the world. I'll take that to the bank. 90% of the world ain't got 3 hots and a cot or a roof over their head. Another little tip. If you ever are caught way out in the middle of nowhere, or you ain't got no money to buy a gasket, you took something apart and you need a gasket, cracker boxes, regular saltine cracker boxes. And if you don't have Permatex, silicone will work, but I have used just grease, just grease. I've taken and just cut out my pattern for my gasket, and then I just put grease on it, stuck it in there, and tightened it down, and it works good. If it ever dries out, it will leak, but as long as you put enough grease on there on both sides, you're good to go. If you got Permatex, it's all that much better. If you've got silicone, that's much better. I've never used caulk. I have used silicone, just regular old window and caulk silicone, bath and tile silicone. Use that. But when I didn't have anything else, I just put grease on both sides. Had some old bearing grease, put it on both sides, got it real good and slick on both, put it on there, and never had an issue with it. I put valve covers on. I put rear end covers on. I put timing chain covers on. I was trying to think of some other things. I mean, we put a lot of them on just out of cracker boxes because we just didn't have money to go buy gas. Or it's too far. You're way out in the middle of nowhere and you take something apart and you got to fix it. So, come over here, honey. Switch places with Anna. She's got a story. She got a story. So, Dawn, my beautiful wife makes an appearance.
Hello.
So, tell your story about growing up on the reservation with no electricity.
Okay. I grew up with no electricity, and we didn't get electricity until I was 18 years old. So I've got 6 sisters. At that time, we had 4 girls still in the house, and going to high school, so we had to get up early. We had running water, but we always wanted to curl our hair. So we didn't have no electricity, so we had curling iron. So when we had curling iron, we just cut the cord off, and then we heat up our curling iron over the stove. Not wood stove, but propane stove. We turn, let that heat up, and then we curl our hair. Sometimes if we got it too hot, we curl it, and then we singe our hair, and then we'll have like hairs missing. Some will be shorter. But we really have to make sure it's not too hot. So that was one of the things that we did growing up.
You redneck and didn't know it. Oh, her dad one time, I gave him this van. I had this van, and the flywheel had a crack place in it. And for you who don't know cars, the flywheel is what is hooked to the transmission, transfers power. Anyway, the starter is on a gear there, and it starts the motor that way. Well, it had a crack in it, and it was tearing up starters, and it actually broke a starter, and I just got tired of the old thing. It's connected to another story, by the way. We got a lot of stories. We've lived a full life, okay? That's why I got gray in my beard. He took baling wire. Now, those of you who don't know what baling wire is, and there's not as much of it as there used to be. There are still people who bale hay with wire. They have a wire baler. It comes in big spools of wire, and they bale their bales of hay up with it instead of hay twine. You know, the orange hay twine or the grass hay twine. They bale with wire. He took wire, and he wired that starter back together. The housing of the starter was broken. He put the starter back in there and turned. You're saying hello, baby. They turned the flywheel past the point of the crack, and they would hit the starter, and it would go around. And then if it went too far, they would do it again. And he got the van started and drove it home. And they actually I think they kept that van for a long time and drove it. He had a guy weld him a receiver hitch. And when he burnt the hole out, the ball would not fit in there. I don't know what the guy was thinking. I don't know who he had made. But they put it on the van, and my nephew was staying with us, Jules' son. And they went out there every day with a file. They didn't have nothing else. They didn't have a grinder, didn't have a drill. And they sat there and took turns filing down the wall of that receiver hitch until a ball would fit in there. A regular trailer hitch ball would fit in there and tighten up. He did that. That takes dedication to an idea right there.
I remember Dad used to use bike tube.
Bike inner tube.
And he left springs.
Broken springs on a car or truck. Mm-hmm. He had a 4-wheel drive truck that he wrapped inner tube around and then wired it with baling wire. Yeah, I knew who Gary was. Gary Black, I knew who he was. Yeah, crikey, that's it. But hey, he finally got it. He finally got it and got the ball in there and was able to pull the trailer with that hit. So didn't have the money. I think he traded a bracelet. He's a silversmith, so he braided a bracelet to the guy to build it, and he welded the receiver hitch and then got in finishes or something. Anyway, I've seen all kinds of wheelbarrow. Thank you.
Yes.
Been using the far out of it. Anna's been using more than I have. She's been hauling horse manure. Horse too. I'm trying to think. Oh, that same van that I gave to her dad that had the broken flywheel. We actually had to repo it to buy it. We went back here. We came back here and we needed a place to stay in town because I was getting a job in town. But I didn't start for 2 weeks. So we sold the truck that we had to a car lot. And we rented a house. But we didn't have a vehicle. So the car lot, I said, you got any cars? Because I had to have money to rent the house. You get me water? And he goes, I do have a van. He says, I do have a van. He said, but you'll have to repo it if you want to buy it. So me and her jumped in some vehicle that he let us take up there. And when we got there, I had the keys, went over, jumped in the van, and it was dead as a doornail. So we're sitting in front of this house. There's dogs barking at us. We don't know who's in the house. We don't know what's going to happen. I said, the battery that she pulls up there, we put jumper cables on it, jump it off, and take it out of there, and take it back to the car lot. I think we bought it for like $700. It was a full-size Chevrolet van, and it was rough. We had to clean it out. It was rough. I don't know what they've been hauling in there, but it just smelled. But we cleaned it out. And Anna was little. Anna was just 2 years old, and then we had Kelsey with us. And we driving around, and we was going somewhere, and I hit the turn signal, and the turn signal inside the steering wheel broke and fell out. And if anybody lives out here knows they're tough on stuff out here. So I ended up making my own turn signal switches and my light switches. None of the lights work. The highlight, the dimmer, nothing. I pulled the wires out there and I just tested them. And I put toggle switches. So left turn signal was over here. So you come up to stop. Even the stoplights went out on the thing. So you take and you hit stop, and you have to flip your brake lights on. Then we take off, you have to shut them off. And the running lights still work, but then the turn signal had a toggle switch. It had several toggle switches that I put on the dashboard. Had left turn signal, right turn signal. You could turn them on both at once, and you had hazard. You remember that?
I hated driving that van.
You had to be coordinated. So then when you stop, you had to turn the turn signals off, turn the brake lights on. It was fun. All them was the days. No. Oh my. Oh, how many of you have ever cooked beans on the manifold of a tractor or chili on a manifold of a truck with it running in the winter? I have. We used to do it all the time. A can of soup, you just pop a little hole in it, and then you set it up on the manifold, the exhaust manifold of the truck, and you go cut wood, be cutting firewood, be out there working, and you come back and that soup would be hot. You take a pair of ice strips, pull it off, finish opening it, or glove, finish opening, eat hot chili right there. Cook, be of a 351 Windsor or 350 Chevrolet. Done it. It works. You can do it. You can do it going down the road if you've got a wide enough manifold and the pan won't flop out there. It works. Another thing you can do too, if you're going around town, and maybe you guys, I don't care what anybody says. I see these people on YouTube, and I see these people on, and they're talking about, oh, we eat healthy, and we don't eat out, and we don't do. Oh, my. YouTube. How many of you eat frozen burritos? We eat frozen burritos. So if you're traveling somewhere, good old manifold sausage rolls and meat pies. Man, hey, that reminds me, Josh. I went to New Zealand and they don't have meat pies like that over here. If they do, I don't know where they're at. I can't find them. But them meat pies, they were treating us out over there. I went to field days over there. They were treating us out to these big meals and these big extravagant things and this cuisine. And one day they brought in these meat pies in the packages, and they had something that was heating them up in there. And I was like, oh, these are good. They said, this is junk food. I said, this ain't junk food. These are awesome. But you can take anything that is in a wrapper, plastic wrapper. Uh-oh. I may be losing you guys. Can you guys still hear me? Am I still good? It's saying that my something's going on with my 4G. I don't know if you guys can still see me. We good? Okay. You can throw them up in the dashboard of your car if you're traveling, and you can drive down the road, and it'll cook. You can just flip it over, and the solar heat from the windshield
We'll
heat up your burrito. It'll be hot too. It it works really well. I don't know. My phone's over here carrying on saying that my data's messed up, and so you guys excuse me just a second. My data usage. They're saying they're going to throttle my data usage. There we go. Well, I had to fix it. We've been on here about an hour. Let's see what else we got. Okay. I had to drive a guy's truck once, and the windshield wiper motor didn't work. So he had a string run out the driver's window, tied to the first wiper, and you tugged one string, and the wiper wouldn't work. All right, Josh, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work over there, and hopefully you do something on a guinea pig. I want to see a guinea pig dish. If it rains too much, you to work out. Yeah. I was trying to think of some other things. There's so much stuff we did over the years. One that me and Jonathan was talking about earlier. We were working on the side of a I believe it was a cabin the first time. The second time we did it, it was a barn. And Jonathan, being lighter than me, we didn't have a regular working harness, and he had to do some stuff on the outside of the building. And we took 2 horse halters, and John put them on his body and buckled the strap that goes around the head on this side. He put the other one on the other side, and the 2 rings overlapped. So we tied a rope through there, and I held on to him, and he went out, and he nailed up boards and done what he had to do while me holding on to him. And sometimes I'd have to go cut a board, so I would tie him off inside the building, and he'd be out there on 2 horse harnesses, 2 horse halters for a harness, and then we get done, we'd put it back in. Josh is leaving. Yeah, Josh. Everybody's telling Josh goodbye. Appreciate Josh so much. He's doing a good job. His channel's growing. Getting started on Homestead. You leaving too? Real when it's time by. Okay. Appreciate you guys. Anybody that's leaving, appreciate it. So I'm about it. I've got all kinds of stories. There's all kinds of things you can do on a Ford truck. If your key switch don't work, but you can get power to your coil with a wire, you can actually start your truck underneath the hood. Make sure it ain't a standard and it's in gear because it'll run over you. But automatic or out of gear standard, and you can short out the solenoid across it with a screwdriver and start a truck. We actually bought our old green Monster truck. The key switch would come on, but it wouldn't start. So I just got out there on the hood and shorted out, started right up. The people didn't even say, it won't start. I don't know what's wrong with it. I said, I'll fix that. And we did that for 3 or 4 days, drove around like that. Every time we'd get ready to go somewhere, shorted out on the hood. There's something you can do. I hope people are learning. If nothing else, I hope I hope all these stories we had here inspired you to do something out of the ordinary. We have never lived ordinary lives. Oh, what are we at? Yeah. When we was kids, we used to stick. I don't think it'll work now because it won't bring in digital, but we used to, on the old UHF, VHF system, you could actually stick a potato on your antenna, and it would help you get channels in. They wouldn't be fuzzy. The Escort, yeah, it wouldn't. The Escort got to the point, and I think it's because I hit like 3 deer with it, but it wouldn't shut off, so we would go take the battery cable off, and it would die. I don't know. It was really screwed up after hitting 3 deer. We called it the Deer Slayer. Yeah, a potato. It won't happen now, but we used to. You could take and put a potato on a raw potato on a antenna, and it helped increase the signal. There's actually energy in a potato. Did you know you can conduct electricity with a potato? G-Bear will tell you all about that. Yeah, potatoes are a weird deal. You can actually catch energy with a potato, 2 nails, and copper wire. You can get a multimeter and you can sit there and watch it go up. Now, it's not a whole lot of energy. The more you move it, the better it is. But you can take 2 nails. We did it in science class. Of course, they don't teach science no more. So, but when we was in school, you would take the potato, put 2 nails in it, and then you would take 2 copper wires, and you would tie off the one, tie off the other, and then you would weave them back and forth between the nails until you got to the top. And when you move it across, around, that potato actually generated, I don't know what the movement had to do with it, but it would light up a small light bulb, like a flashlight light bulb. I think somebody did it with a big enough potato. They actually did a 110 light. You can look that stuff up. It's on the internet. Yeah, potatoes do help AM, FM antennas too. If you've got a weak radio signal, put an antenna on. Put a potato on an antenna. Works every time. Potato it. Well, I have. Oh, my brother. This is another one on my brother John. This is Jonathan's dad. For a long time, every Labor Day and every Memorial Day, they go camping up at Indian Boundary Lake. And they either stay in a hotel or something, and they want to save some money. So he would go and rent a small U-Haul trailer, pack all their camping gear in it, and then when they got to the campsite, they would unpack all their camping gear and put a mattress in the camper, and then they would just sleep in the camper. Or a copper wire from the antenna in the potato. Yeah. Walker Farms, appreciate you guys. Walker Farmer family. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by. We're about to hang it up. I'm about done with my whole list. I have rambled on. But redneck ingenuity. Let's just summarize. Do what you can with what you got. And if somebody says you can't do it, that's a pretty good idea that they're scared. Every time I ever did anything, people would look at me and say, "You can't do that." Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to keep going. We've done a lot of that stuff. You can't do that. I'm going to do it. People told me, "You can't write a book." I wrote a book. I wrote 2. Jewel, good night, sis. People said you can't do a lot of things, and we did it. We did a lot of things. I had a TV show on cable. People said it would never happen, but it did. Do what you can with what you got. We started this YouTube channel with a phone from Walmart that cost. Hey, Taylor. It's about time for me to go. But we started this YouTube channel. You can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Especially if God tells you to do it anyway. You do it. You go out there and you do it. If they say that's too big, you can't dream that big. If somebody tries to squelch you, you can do it. You just got to go out there and you've got to take and put effort into it. Effort outweighs a lot of things. Effort and ingenuity will go a long way because I've done it and we're still doing it. You're going to see that car out there with the trailer behind it with air shocks on it, and we're seeing it. It's going to happen. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Get out there and get it done. And we really appreciate everybody. I don't know how many times I can say we really, really appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Hope you enjoy our videos. We got a lot of footage coming up. We got a lot of things happening now. Things are really starting to take off for us and really starting to do good. So we want to thank y'all for stopping by. Good night. God bless. We'll see you down the road.
Good night.